Good afternoon to all of you. It is actually very, very challenging to handle an afternoon session after a sumptuous lunch, but then I'm going to keep it very short. Actually, if I have to mention about Samagra Shikshana Karnataka, our objective is to improve the quality in education. It is not about the construction of schools or the civil works that we deal with. It is about how our students are benefiting from the education system. So primarily we focus on government schools from first standard to second PU, that is still up to 12th standard. So here we are talking about something like more than 48,000 schools, and also students almost coming to 48 to 49 lakhs. Then also teachers, maybe they will be around 2 lakhs. So today's, I think, whatever the workshop or the seminar that is being organized, we are talking about the digital divide. Usually it is always a comparison between how the private schools, they are able to give better facilities, and how does government manage to do the same for the students who have opted for government schools. Indeed, it is a big challenge. In the outset only, let me admit that. But it doesn't mean that just because the students hail from the government schools, they are less talented. I don't think we can make such a conclusion. I think the whole intention of the government would be to give a level footing for these children. So in the NEP 2020, which was actually formulated by Government of India and which we are following closely, it is clearly mentioned that here onwards, we should extensively use technology in teaching and learning, removing language barriers for increasing access for Divyang students, educational planning and management. So, even the national education policy recognizes the importance of technology. It is not that Karnataka has realized it late. Even before 2000, periodically and phase by phase, we have focused on using technology. It could be through ICT phase 1, 2 programs, phase 3 program, or even through TAL. Karnataka has always recognized the importance of technology. So we had a clear-cut policy in 2016 stating that government will enable teachers to use ICT in their regular classrooms without interference of any third party, with an intention to implement ICT curriculum for teachers and students also. I will not come out with all statistics about how many schools were given this many computers or laptops, projectors. I think the major issue today that we have to understand is how do we really give our students equal footing that probably the private schools have an advantage of. Some of the constraints that we face, especially from the government, it is always about, though computers are provided, there is always the problem of connectivity. Because definitely I think if you look at the statistics, none of the private schools are going to go open in some tribal area, inaccessible area. That is where we government step in. I think this is the thing that everyone has to recognize. The students in such areas cannot be deprived of education. How does ICT help us to give access to these kind of children? I think since Microsoft is organizing this, I think all the companies, if you want to really help government, please understand these constraints. We are also talking about students, that is children with special needs. I think we always focus on the smart children. I think we always think that when ICT is implemented, it is all about the students becoming software engineers. I think that should not be our goal. It is also about if the entire world, if everyone is going to opt for software, just because, I think what is the basic reason behind it, you will be able to understand. I don't think every child of us will be functioning in that way. The child will be having innumerable interests. So, that kind of child, how do we foster his or her interest? I think that also we have to take into account. Technology is not about, making the child proficient in coding. It is also about how technology can assist a child if the child is interested in humanities, if the child is interested in arts, if the child is very, very creative, how technology can help. I think it is somewhere here that we have come to know that during COVID, I think all of us who were technologically challenged, I think we became proficient. Isn't it? Face-to-face meetings were the norm of the day. I think now it is like we do not, even after post-COVID, when none of us are wearing mask today. I think it's a very good situation that we can claim. Still, we want Zoom meetings, correct? Or that is meetings online mode. That is how COVID has changed us. So now technology has become part of our life. So how do we actually help this kind of technology become integral in our schools? I think that has really actually opened so many possibilities. When I mentioned that we have 2 lakh teachers, I'm also informing you that we have severe shortage of teachers. Shortage that is also artificial, because even many of our teachers, they would like to be in the, prominent places. I'm not really blaming them because they are also human beings. So that is the reason where the inaccessible schools or the schools with minimum strength, we have schools with just 10 students. We have schools just with 15 students. Or we have schools with large number of students, probably 50, 60, but still we are not able to provide the requisite number of teachers. Then there are also schools, that is where core subjects, like we'll be having shortage of teachers in in science and maths. So how does technology help us in addressing shortage of teachers? So I think that is where technology can aid us. Digital classrooms can be the next alternative for us. Through digital classrooms, we can cover, provided connectivity is there, we can provide all the schools where we may not be having those number of teachers, especially for core subjects, so that our students are not deprived. I think this is where we also look at technology. And obviously, I'm very proud to say that Bangalore is the technology capital of India. And probably, I think Bangalore is more famous than any other city, probably in US. I think we should be very, very proud of it. So that is where I think Karnataka, especially our government schools, we should have, the most advantageous position in getting all this kind of help from all the technological companies. And I should also appreciate even the non-governmental organizations which are helping us. There are very good non-governmental organizations. We have Shikshana Foundation. In fact, Shikshana Foundation actually has brought out a book which is called a Digital Skills Reference Book, which is accessible to all the students, even schools without computers. I think they can also have an access to these kind of books where all subjects relating to the usage of computers or its applications are taught to the students. We also have a very good non-governmental organization like India Literacy Project, which has contributed 395 e-resources, related to core subjects of classes 4 to 10th. Then Akshara Foundation has provided e-resources for 1st to 5th class and 7th medium for maths, English, etc., which are all uploaded on Diksha portal, which is easily accessible by all our teachers. Step Up for India video library has contributed e-resources for second language and also read English. So many, I mean, I cannot just talk about, I cannot complete all this organization which have really tremendously helped without any expectation, only with the intention that our students should benefit. So I think today it is not that government is not doing, government is doing with all its constraints, and this is where we require support from all the other stakeholders. It could be not only about improving the quality in education, it could also be about better monitoring, having a dashboard. We are also talking about Vidya Samiksha Kendra. I think that is the new central government initiative wherein every state should have a dashboard. This is not about, monitoring how many number of schoolrooms are there, or it is about schools with toilets, without toilets. This is about monitoring the attendance of the students, monitoring the attendance of the teachers, monitoring the learning outcomes, whether learning outcomes are achieved by the children or not. So we are really not into promoting rote learning. So these kind of technological initiatives, covering several aspects, have been already undertaken by the state government. And maybe since my timeline is just 10 minutes, I must have exceeded. No, I think even I have come to the end, because afterwards you want me to also participate in a panel discussion. If I finish off all my things, then I will have nothing left to speak in the panel discussion. And also I told in the beginning that everyone has just finished their lunch. So I have to respect their sentiments also. And everyone, I think, they know the challenges that are being faced by government. And let me tell you, with all these challenges, there are so many teachers who are doing fantastic work in the villages without any expectation. I think hats off to those teachers. I think that is where when we read in the newspapers that some of the students, I think some of the children, probably the parents are economically deprived, but still they were able to go to an IIT or IIM, becoming an engineer, doctor, artist. I think these are the examples that we are looking forward. But main thing is, it is not about how economically successful the child is. It is about giving the child the self-confidence to face the world. I think giving the child the self-respect to face the world, even though the child is from government school. Thank you.